Well, today, Ontario's Human Rights Tribunal ruled that all TTC streetcar and bus drivers must announce all stops. The tribunal found that by not calling out all stops, the TTC was discriminating against visually impaired or blind passengers. Toronto City Councillor Adam Giambrone is the chair of the Toronto Transit Commission. He joins me this afternoon with his reaction to the ruling. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What was your initial response when you heard today's ruling?
Well, we did hear about it a couple of hours ago, and we have every intention to comply with the ruling. We will have a challenge over the next 15 days, which is the time period set out to come up with a plan, and over the next 30 days to train operators. We had already been in a process where we were automating all the announcements on every bus, streetcar, subway train, and SRT vehicle. That was set to be finished by the end of December. So we're going to be asked now to come up with an interim plan on how we will call stops from the end of August to the end of December, when the automated system will take over, and we've been working on that for the last year and a half.
Is this more of an issue on bus routes than it is streetcars? Streetcars seem to already do that pretty regularly. Is this more about the buses?
Well, No, it's really about all the vehicles. Very clearly, there had been a separate issue with the subway trains. We started that, but we made the decision over a year ago and put it in the budget. We are spending $6.6 million this year to do the automation of all of our vehicles. But really, this is an issue for each and every vehicle. We had already had a program where operators were to call major stops. This program requires each and every stop, and you can appreciate that some bus lines have over 100 stops. Bus drivers change routes sometimes every day, so it will be a little bit of a challenge, but we will do our best to comply with the court's order.
And one of the issues is consistency, to have it done every single time. The report was it was very hit and miss, so the drivers in this training will be told it has to be every single time?
That's absolutely right. You can appreciate for a driver there's traffic issues, they have to collect fares, there's people asking them questions. It is a challenging environment. We're going to work with them over the next couple of weeks, develop the training program, but we have somewhere around 8,500 employees that this affects potentially, so there is a lot of training that we have to undergo, and with our drivers we will do our best to do that. We respect the decision of the tribunal, and meanwhile, and I was on a bus yesterday on the Wellesley 94 route that had the automated announcements already in place. They're going in with new security cameras on all of our surface routes, so that program is rolling out independently, and by December all of our vehicles will have automated announcements, so this program will not be necessary anymore, but it is going to be a challenge for the next 3 or 4 months.
What about the potential resistance from some of the drivers? Because the former chair, the man in place before you, Howard Moscow, was on Metro Morning saying that the union was not happy about this. As it turned out, the union was never asked. So what are you hearing from the union about this arrangement?
Well, we've really just received this announcement. I mean, this is why it's important to recognize the difficult situation that a lot of our drivers are in out on the route. It's not a controlled environment. So it's our obligation under the tribunal ruling that we need to work with our drivers. We're going to do our best. We know our drivers want to follow through on the training.
But there has been some concern expressed by some of the drivers?
Well, I had a chance. I've been in the office since the ruling. I know I'm on the system every day. I see the difficult situations a lot of our drivers are in. And remember, this is about perfection, each and every stop, all the time.
But this has been in the works, though. As you say, this plan's been going on for quite a while, so there must have been an opportunity to gauge some reaction from the drivers.
But, well, I mean, the drivers, are very happy about the automated system because it removes that responsibility from them and provides a high-quality, clear, consistent message. What we now have to do is talk to them and speak with the union about how we're going to comply with the tribunal that will require us to have this interim measure in effect. So I'm sure we will find a way to do this. It will be a challenge. We will do the best we can, and we will have this automated system up and running by the end of the year, which is a fairly quick turnaround. You can imagine 1,500 buses, just under 250 streetcars, all the subway trains, and the 44 SRT vehicles. It's a lot of vehicles to do, and we've moved fairly quickly to do that. We just have to come up with this interim plan.
I know you've been talking a great deal about budget restraints. So was this considered for any funding cutbacks? I mean, you were talking about potentially closing the Shepherd subway. What about the automated system?
They're two separate situations because, and I know it's kind of confusing because the province and federal government doesn't operate like this. We have been talking about our operating budget challenges. This is for employees. That is under a capital budget because it's an installations of systems. The capital budgets would be a problem in the long run if the new taxes were not adopted, but in the short run, that's not an issue. What is an issue is for the operating, so for the operating hours, of course, we're going to have to pay some overtime to train drivers because they're out driving during their shift. That will have an operating impact, and of course in this difficult budget time that doesn't make it easy. Those numbers are small, probably in the tens of thousands of dollars compared to the $6.6 million, which is under our capital borrowing, and in effect has already largely been spent because the equipment has been purchased. We've been working on this for over a year. So this is really, the program is in fact wrapping up, and many of the buses have the systems already installed. They have not been turned on. That will now happen over the next couple months as already planned.
Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Councillor